Bitcoin receiving a mega dumpy overnight, achieving its first successful 20% plus pullback since January of this year. Many people are now asking themselves, has Bitcoin topped out in a very sloppy-toppy like way? Or has Bitcoin not even begun to top out? With the Moon Boys slowly losing hope day by day and being converted into little baby bear boys, is all hope lost? Or is that just what the market wants you to believe before it mega pumps once more? Wow, this intro is pretty long, but not as long as the green candle will be once Bitcoin absolutely solidifies its support and initiates maximum gainers upon the Bitcoin bears. As Bitcoin fights for its life, inching and squinching closer and closer to its 21-week moving average, this is truly the retest we've been talking about for over 2 months. However, Bitcoin still technically has a little itsy-bitsy, teensy-weensy little bit lower to go before it even hits those price levels. But if you think that's big, you have no idea what big actually is. As the stock market also received a little bit of a mega dumpy as well, the bulls are about to realize the meaning of true pain. And when I say bulls, I mean bears. And when I say bears, I mean everyone. Because both the bears and the bulls receive a mega banging every once in a while. Wow, now this is big. But you know what's even bigger? The price of Bitcoin after this bull run becomes the biggest bull run since the beginning of bull runs combined. I bet you thought I was done with the intro. Wow, you just got faked out, trapped, mommy maked out, and everything in between. Now that is big. Overnight, Bitcoin has initiated a micro dumpy. But is this dumpy done? Or is this just the beginning of a dumpy? So if Bitcoin receiving a 20% pullback during a bull market doesn't scare you because you understand that we should expect even more of these and even bigger dumps than we've even gotten so far, hit that like, hit that subscribe, get signed up to BINGX or BINGX below if you buy Bitcoin or altcoins. And without any further ado, let's absolutely dump on into these charts where Bitcoin right now is about, I believe at this exact spot we're currently at, we're about 21 to 20, we're about 22% from all-time highs. And it is typical in bull markets for Bitcoin to have 20 to 40% pullbacks multiple times, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 times. This is our very first 20% plus pullback since back in January when the ETFs got approved and started trading and we initiated a dump. So everything so far, we're not even close to like breaking what is typical in terms of dumps from a bull market, right? So basically, if you're getting scared here, you're literally just new to a market. You're new to these markets. There's literally nobody that actually has experience that has been in Bitcoin that sees what the price action we've done so far and thinks, oh my gosh, it's over. It's all over. There's literally no one. There's influencers that are just trying to get engagement by posting the most bearish things possible. And then there's people who don't have experience. Those are the only two people that are putting out that kind of information. In fact, for pizza's sake, Bitcoin still, even though we've had this dump, which, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is our 5th red weekly candle. Keep in mind, after putting in like 7 green monthly candles for the first time in history in a row. But anyway, 7 green monthly, right? Now we have 5 red weekly candles, and we still haven't even gotten down to this level that I've been talking about for like the past 2 months, okay? It's right down at about 55,000 right now, this moving average, the 21-week moving average. So we could still even go lower, and it would still be just typical of a bull market pullback. It's absolutely insane to me. And honestly, before we continue with the actual charts and everything, I was getting a little nervous because it did seem like a lot of people were getting bullish. But now it's making me feel a lot more comfortable about this pullback because I'm starting to see the exact opposite. Everyone's just insanely bearish. A lot of bearish people. A lot of people are scared. All your favorite bear influencers who are posting 1 video a month are now posting every day again, right? Because they're coming out of their closets and they're deciding, hey, I'm not going to get bullied every second, even though they were wrong for the past 16 months, and they're wrong again, most likely. But yeah, I personally think I think this dump could still go lower. And it's still healthy, and I still think we're entering a very strong bull market, but not by tomorrow, not by next week. As I've been saying, this takes time to play out, and basically the lower it goes and the longer it takes, if Bitcoin holds support at the key levels, then it's insanely even more bullish. The more this price can consolidate and then ultimately build support at these levels. We did see the MACD actually just cross bearish. We talked about this either the last video or 2 videos ago. And yeah, I mean, personally, in my opinion, no real signs that we're going to start reversing and pumping immediately. No signs of that yet either. It is still basically a slow bleed. However, today what you can see is that that bleed did accelerate a little bit. We also see that the Bollinger Bands are starting to release a little bit as we're now outside of the Bollinger Bands, and also we're dumping below the 100-day moving average, closing above about 59,500 or about 60,000 is what would be needed for Bitcoin to hold a daily close above the 100-day moving average. But again, I mean, after multiple days of rejections right at the 21-day, this green line, you can see eventually you do get bigger dumps if you keep getting rejected there. In fact, also this daily MACD has swung pretty substantially into the negative for the first time the entire year of 2024 so far. So for the first, 4 months, this is the deepest it's been in terms of dumpiness. We also see, I want to take an eye, the SPX as well. It was rallying for like 2 weeks. It is now having 2 red days so far. The stock market also isn't doing fantastic right now. Looks like the SPX, NASDAQ, Dow Jones. Dow Jones is the only one that's green right now, but it's probably going to end red. It's barely green. But yeah, looking at the weekly chart for Bitcoin, this is what's massive as well. This, we got this bearish cross, but this 21-day moving average right around 55,000. Keep in mind, we could have a flash wick, a flash crash, a flash dumpy. Let's say maybe even to the high 40,000s, get a daily or significant daily and weekly closes back above it then. And then ultimately, I mean, let me just draw out what I'm trying to say maybe so like people can get a better visualization maybe of what, well, this green arrow I just drew blends in with the moving average. So, I mean, I think you guys get the point probably. It doesn't matter. Something like that. Ultimately, it makes sense. But still, as I've been saying for a while now, this is still a bleed. I mean, the market is still bleeding. It is still basically a falling knife right now. It's still short-term bearish. We have gotten just continuous rejections off the 21-day moving average, and that's a really good guide and a really good indicator to understand, hey, short-term momentum is still not flipped bullish. And ultimately, again, pull out this chart, massive support below us. There is obviously massive support below us. The biggest clump really below us, or actually right about here, I believe is the point of control. We have massive amounts of accumulated volume right at about 57,000. So it'll really be interesting to see if we actually trade here for a prolonged amount of time. We look at something like this chart. You could also, this is a 4-hour chart. You could also draw something like a broadening wedge. Even I think I've seen some people drawing I don't know how they would draw that. That doesn't make much sense to me as like a falling wedge. I don't really see that, but like a broadening wedge, you can kind of see that here as well. But ultimately, yeah, Bitcoin has put in lower lows now on the daily chart. It's very apparent. Let's go back to a daily chart. Lower lows. This is the lowest Bitcoin price has been since all the way back at the end of February. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, if I'm looking for short-term areas of support, 57 is going to honestly, where we're at right now is a decent one. The 21 week is right around 55. So also there, the biggest, gigantic, most massive amount of support that I fully expect Bitcoin would not really go below. And if it did, it would be for mere seconds, would be around 47 to 48,000. But that would be like in an extreme dump situation. That would be a real dump. Okay, that's about 35%, which is kind of pushing that upper limits of what is normal pullback range or a normal pullback percent during a bull market. So pretty much, in my opinion, I mean, that's a good way to sum it up. I think the lowest Bitcoin could go, and I still would not be phased, and I don't even care about this price action, and I'm still mega bullish. The lowest it would go is around that $47,000 to $48,000 level. If Bitcoin closes below 47 to 48,000 consistently, let's say even just a couple of days, then that could potentially switch things. But keep in mind, Bitcoin's already dumped over 20%, And to get down to that level I'm talking about would be another $10,000 drop for Bitcoin. So overall, yeah, I mean, the dump still is not done, but absolutely, in my opinion, none of this is concerning. Where I would get concerned is what I just said. If we actually start closing dailies below 47 to 48,000. But hold your horses because we're not quite there yet. And get signed up to FEMX or BINGX below if you want Bitcoin or altcoins. And without any further ado,